Hello there, it's Bronco Joe again. I got my thoughts a little bit more organized this time around. So, let's start off with the sky. It's up after all, right? Let's see, it's about 4 o'clock. It's already starting to get dark. Probably be dark by around 5. Maybe a little later, not sure yet. But, that's just how the winter is, especially up here. Daylight's shorter, nights are longer. Figured I'd pick up a topic that is probably, at this point, probably about a year old. I'm not gonna go back and do the math to figure out exactly. But a while ago, and don't get me wrong, I'm more of a Three Bears guy myself. I don't really shop at Target. I'll go to Costco or Fred Meyer or Walmart first. Target had a section, I guess back during Pride Month, where they had a Pride display up front. And, Target's a private enterprise. They're allowed to do that. It's not the employee's fault, that certain people just can't handle that. And I'm going to get to that too. Because I think we need to take a step back from politics, take a step back from this idea that we're different, and look at it from both perspectives. Now, right about today, if you're mainstream conservative, you probably don't have a problem with gay people. The, individual gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever, that just means she likes what I like, or he likes what she likes, It's really not that hard to wrap your head around. And there are people who don't believe that as well. And there are people that exploit both sides to make a profit. That's where it all goes wrong. So anyway, let's get back to the Target example, right? Target had a Pride display. They've got, they carry, their own line or somebody else's line of LGBTQ plus merchandise, right? Well, within their rights, and all they're really doing is filling a marketplace gap, There are people who are going to buy it. There are people who, in many cases, are not gay or not part of the LGBTQ community that are going to buy into it to show their support for people like that. Perfectly okay, I'm not going to, and I'll get into that in a few. But let's discuss why. Let's take one perspective, right? The conservative perspective. I'm sure everybody saw the TikTok videos and stuff and the compilations. Conservatives going into Target, throwing a fit over LGBTQ stuff, calling it satanic. Now, I understand why, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. I understand why, alright, but that's still not appropriate public behavior. And these are the same people that are calling out people like the it's ma'am person, for behaving inappropriately in public. So there's plenty of blame to go around both sides of the aisle. And honestly, you can look at it from whatever perspective you want, but both sides are pretty nuts. There's not really much that you can do to change that. That's just facts, So, from the conservative perspective, yeah. Personally, from my perspective, I can understand the conservative side to a degree. I don't really want my children in the future, when I have them, if I have them, to be exposed to any kind of sexuality, you know, regardless of whether it's LGBTQ or, you know, just typical mainstream straight whatever. I don't want my kids exposed to that stuff. It detracts from childhood. On the other hand, you have a group of individuals that, and personally, I've never liked the term community. I've never liked the idea of community. You look at, so take the scientific community, for example, right? If science is about finding out the truth, then how come there's a scientific community? And if you don't believe what the scientific community says, then you're just denying facts and evidence. But, you know, nobody's going to present those facts and evidence. You're just supposed to take global warming into account. And don't get me wrong, because, like, it's finally snowing after almost a week of raining out here, on and off. And the weather is quite a bit odd, especially for this time of year. And so a lot of people who are exposed to fear-mongering and stuff, you know, global warming, the world's coming to an end, they're going to look at that and go, oh, that's evidence that, you know, that I'm right, when in reality, you know, nobody knows. Nobody knows. And even if we did know, I don't think we'd be able to stop it, even if we shut down everything on the planet that made carbon or used electricity, or, you know, if we got rid of the human race, right, the temperature is going to continue to rise. It just is. You know, there's nothing we can do about it. Anyway, but to get back to communities, right, I understand, and conservatives are their own kind of community, their own kind of group, you know, but LGBTQ, right, you know, you go your entire life feeling like you're an outsider, and you're cast into a world that you're told hates you. You're told that conservatives hate you. And conservatives, on the other hand, some of them, a good number of them, good number of them, prove that point pretty effectively. So that belief, that feeling is by no means unwarranted in most cases, in many cases anyway. But, you know, they go through the whole being in the closet, coming out of the closet, and then finally feeling like they're part of something. And I think that's what everybody's looking for with this identity politics, is to be part of something, right? So imagine you're coming out against this huge group of opposition, right? You've got this little community that you're clinging to. Not little, but feels that way. And because of who you are and what you like, you're ostracized for it. So you're scared. And because you're scared, you end up hating your opposition. I mean, a lot of people say racism doesn't exist anymore, and, you know, I could argue that racism never existed, that it was just a specialized kind of hatred born from fear of misunderstanding or not wanting to understand, you know. So there's two sides to everything. And I think that when you really take a step back, right, and this is why I'm going after a topic that's not new, that we've had time to sort of think about and contemplate up until this point. When you take a step back, you're looking not at people fighting, not individuals. You're looking at two groups that are fighting, disagreeing, sure, but fighting. And I mean, in reality, is it really that big of a deal? I don't shop at Target. I'm not going to see that, if you're conservative and you really feel that strongly that, the rainbow parade is wrong, just don't shop at Target. And I know, and this is actually going to come as a shock to some people, but I will admit it is getting exceedingly difficult to walk into a business and have, and not have that business try to shove the LGBTQ thing down your throat. Wherever you're going, let's take a step back. It really isn't individuals fighting. It's individuals that follow two different competing ideologies that are fighting. And it really has nothing to do with the people. I think, honestly, if you sat down with the craziest, what was her name back in like 2016 or whatever, Big Red, the feminist that was kind of viral for being crazy, Karen, whatever, when you go back and you listen to the whole conversation, yeah, part of what she was saying sounds crazy as heck, and it is. The other part, to me, looks like a cry for help and a cry for acceptance. And I'm not sure if you can see right now, but it's actually getting colder out, thankfully. I can see it, yeah, but my breath is getting a little foggy, so it's finally starting to freeze up again. Like I said, it just started snowing. It just quit a couple minutes ago. But yeah, you look at these people and they're angry, scared, confused, and it's easier to hate, what makes you afraid than it is to just admit that you're scared. And it's the same way on both sides of the aisle. I think, you get all these communities, this idea of community, and really what it is identity. It's identity politics, and it's getting to the point where it's replacing personality. And it, don't get me wrong, has been for the last 20, 30 years, and perhaps longer. I think at the end of it all, we really need to start coming together and realizing we're all individuals. We're all just people. Scared, misguided people. Sure. But we're just people. And are we going to let fear rule our lives? Are we going to let some rainbow flag divide us? Right? Embrace it. And there's another side to the rainbow flag thing, right? This idea that, let's address the Satanism thing, right? This LGBTQ stuff is satanic. It's not. That's your opinion. You have the right to your opinion and the space in which to express it. Everybody does. But that's just not factually true. All right? You're allowed to think that way. You're allowed to believe that. You're not allowed to act in accordance with that. Otherwise, we don't have a society. But, see, where was I going with that? It's starting snowing again. It's distracting me. So, right. Rainbow flag may have started out as, a way for people to feel safe with what they're attracted to. But, you know, you look at all these brands come Pride Month, and everybody's changing to the rainbow flag. And I just take a step back and you think about it, right? Does that corporation really see you for who you are? I mean, let's just both admit there's no Daddy Biden or Daddy Trump that's going to come and personally save you. Yeah, sure, you know, you may get some politician in office that does genuinely care about people, but they don't care about you as an individual. Do you think the corporations that control the government, that lobby the government, that have the real power in, you know, that have the judges in their back pocket, that have these billions of dollars with which to lobby, do you really think that they care about you either? Because if you do, you're equally mistaken. In fact, you're even more so mistaken. So, while the rainbow flag and LGBTQ plus, you know, 2AI, whatever it is, I'm not educated in it, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But where it started out from a good place, it's becoming a marketing dealio, you know. It's all marketing. It's all advertising. Look at us. We're friendly to LGBTQ plus people. You've been tricked. We all have. So I think the biggest takeaway is we need to stop looking at each other as the enemy. Start facing each other as individuals. Just loving each other regardless of what you think is correct. Because at the end of the day, everybody's wrong. I'm wrong. I have an unpopular opinion because everybody's following identity politics. Even people who are conservative who say they don't. So, everybody's wrong. Just admit that. Start loving each other. Start taking care of each other. Start giving a crap about your neighbor. I think if we can do that, just maybe, the world might become a better place. See y'all next time. Cheers.